What's up, St. Louis? It's your host, Luke Farrell of the STL Bucket List Show. The STL Bucket List Show is driven by Bomarito Automotive Group. Bomarito is Missouri's #1 car dealership with over 20 locations, so I guarantee that there's one in your neighborhood. Since the 1970s, Bomarito has sold over 1 million cars, and John and the entire team made us feel completely comfortable when we picked up our new vehicle recently for the family. So I can't thank the Bomarito team enough for driving this episode forward, and enjoy the show. For 50 years, Bankhead and Firth Orthodontics has been proudly serving the vibrant St. Louis community. As a family-owned and operated practice since day one, the commitment to excellence and personalized care runs deep. They believe in giving back to the wonderful people of St. Louis who have entrusted them with their smiles. Step into the 5 locations across St. Louis with modern offices equipped with the latest orthodontic technology. Their 3 amazing doctors are dedicated to providing top-notch, innovative treatments tailored just for you. Join us in celebrating 50 years with Bankhead and Firth Orthodontics, where your family becomes a part of theirs. Schedule your free consultation today and let them help you achieve the confident, gorgeous smile that you deserve. Because in St. Louis, your smile is your legacy.
If you want to hear about St. Louis, tune in to the Bucket List Show weekly. Hear what Marissa and Luke say. It drops every Wednesday. Got a dope new guest every single week. Buckle up for the ride. Who's it gonna be? Who's on the show today? They rep St. Louis. What to do in the loo on a late night, or maybe what to do on a date night. Yeah, Bucket List has you covered. They know what's going on. What's going on? They'll give you, hey, 18 different things to do, or 19 if you need one more to choose. Yeah, this city is a place we call home. A place we call home, yeah.
What's up, St. Louis? It's your host, Luke Farrell of the STL Bucket List Show. My wife, Marissa, is one more week maternity leave. She will be back in studio, but we got special guests for you guys to keep it going, but we can't wait to have her back in the studio. Our numbers are definitely higher when she's here because people like to listen to her more. So, but guys, St. Louis, you guys have been so special to us. As this podcast has continued to grow, our mission is to highlight the people, places, and events that make St. Louis special, and you guys allow us to do this. Our wonderful partners over at Four Hands Brewing Company, Bomarito Automotive Group, First Community Credit Union, St. Louis Closet Company, the Regional Arts Commission of St. Louis. Thank you guys so much for allowing us to keep putting out episodes each and every week. But before we get into it, one of my favorite local magazines, I read you guys probably... I pick up the physical copies a lot, but I read the website a lot. It gives us a lot of inspiration from who we should feature. So I want to thank you guys for that. So we have Sauce Magazine in here. We have Michelle Volansky, and we have Meera Nagarajan.
Hi, thank you for having us.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you guys so much for coming on. They also have a podcast. By the time this comes out, you guys have hit 52 episodes. So
Yes.
First off, I'll start with you, Meera. Tell us a little bit about yourself. Tell us, kind of your roots to St. Louis and a little bit about your upbringing.
I grew up in St. Louis in Chesterfield, and have always loved restaurants.
Mm-hmm.
I really have. I remember my first restaurant dining experience. It was in Olive Garden.
First one, really?
That's the first one I remember.
Olive Garden used to slap though.
Yeah.
With the unlimited
Yeah.
breadsticks.
I'm not hating on it. I'm just saying that was the one that I remember.
Yeah.
And what beautiful Chesterfield culture
Yeah.
to grow up with.
Exactly.
And yes, I grew up in Chesterfield. My parents are immigrants and came here from India. So we grew up in a bilingual, bicultural household. And I went to St. Louis University for my undergraduate degree, and then Mizzou for my journalism degree. So very homegrown, St. Louis, Missouri centric.
Mm-hmm.
And started working at Sauce in 2008. So it's been a while.
Wow. So you're coming up on 16 years.
Yeah, this would be 16
Wow.
years.
Are you the longest lasting person there?
Yes, I'm yes.
By far?
Yeah,
I
she
mean,
is.
yes.
I'm
Number
alarmingly
2.
close. I
Yeah.
remember too. I started in 2013, I think.
Yes.
So I'm
at
over
that.
10 years, the double digits club.
Wow. That's amazing. So Michelle, what about you? Are you a St. Louis girl
I
too?
am. I'm also extremely St. Louis. I grew up in Clifton Heights, across the street from the hill adjacent.
Yeah.
And I was South City Catholic school girl my
Mhm.
whole life. I went to St. Aloysius Gonzaga for grade school, which was bulldozed for suburban housing being built on the hill.
course.
And then I went to Ursuline for high school. The question,
Yeah.
and then MSU for college. Ended up back in St. Louis. Just didn't really
Yeah.
see the point in leaving.
Exactly. No, that's really cool. We like to talk about the roots to St. Louis because, you know, we all connect over these neighborhoods or these schools. I'm actually from St. Charles, and people like are like, oh, you're STL bucket list, but I'm like, I live in South City, and that's why I started the page. So that was kind of the thing, is like I moved from St. Charles to South City, and then I was like, oh, let me just start this page because I was inspired by people like Sauce and the other great, you know, creators that are making content out of it. But what people don't understand is journalism is so much different than when you guys were probably in college or when you were starting out, especially in 2008. Tell us about your journey in journalism, because now you're not just a journalist, you're a content creator, you're a radio host, you're a writer, you're a photographer, you're doing all these other tasks that probably used to be split up. Now it's all into one thing. So whoever wants to take that, tell us about the journey of journalism, because it's changed a lot, at least even in your guys' lifetime.
I would say for us at Sauce, I think what has remained constant since I've started working there is we always put the reader first, and everything else falls into place behind that. So if we're thinking about, oh, this great new place opened, you know, our intention is to be like, let's try the place. Is it good? Do we like it? Would we say to a reader, spend your time and your money and your babysitter money and your gas money to go to this place and take your night off and spend it here because on the strength of we said it was good. And so whatever medium you're delivering that information to, the intention is always to serve the audience with like what we really think is a genuine, honest recommendation.
So if they're listening or if they're reading.
Yes.
Or,
And Meera and I both kind of started at Sauce in more creative roles. Meera was originally art director, and now she's kind of evolved into being executive editor. I started out as production designer. I'm still like creative director, but I contribute a lot more like photography wise and writing. I do a lot of writing now. Both of us do. So it is a very like all hands on deck approach. But it's true. It's always the same approach. It's always the same goal. It's just the media is always shifting. And I think when I was in college, that's what was so appealing to me about working at a publication, is that you get to do a little bit of everything. You know, no day is completely the same. No month is the same. No issue is the same. And now it's the same. Like on Instagram, my coverage changes every day. For the podcast, we're always talking about different things. We also help with events. So we're getting out into the community a lot. So I don't know, you just kind of have to go in with that spirit of changing with media, and it's fun. It's just storytelling.
What's your favorite role when it comes to a day-to-day? I always ask people your ideal day. What would be your ideal day at Sauce Magazine?
My ideal day at Sauce Magazine is, okay, I schedule all my social media and everything is very cut and to the point, and we have exciting news to share, and it performs really well. And we try a new restaurant for Hit List for lunch. And then in the afternoon, I do some photo editing. And then maybe at the end of the day, we have to go try a new place for happy hour. That's a great Sauce Magazine day.
Yeah.
That's when it's fun.
I would say anytime that we're trying things, going places for the first time and experiencing it for the first time, that's always rolled into like a good day. For me, I love like scheduling out and working on assignments for photography and like planning out how a print issue is going to start looking. I feel like when I get to that point in the cycle, that's always really fun for me. But definitely it's like, what are we trying for lunch? What's new? And we have a list of places where it's like, these are all the new places that we need to try.
You guys have this?
Yeah, we have like a Google Doc where we share and like look at all the new places we need to try.
Google Doc. You guys need to leak that.
I know, we'll have someone who's like, I have a doctor's appointment in Maplewood, so I'll be in after that. What's on the list around Maplewood? Should I bring anything in for lunch for us to try?
Yeah.
Because we're really, that's always very important to us, to try stuff as like anonymously as possible, organically. When we're saying that something's good, it's because we genuinely have had that natural same experience that anyone else would have.
100%.
I think that that's very true and very hard at the same time, because a lot of these people are friends of yours, and like a lot of these, so like when we get invited to places, sometimes it could be a sponsorship, sometimes it could be different things. So it's very like, to when you are telling people to go out to these places, like you said, it's a commitment. It's like we just had a newborn, like we get 2 nights a month to go do something. So we want to make sure that we're, you know, spending our time, and especially with places that we really want to have a good experience at.
Absolutely.
Yeah. I mean, you would be surprised. I feel like most people, when we go into a restaurant, It's just like they're in the weeds. They're during lunch service. They're trying to get things out on time and get it right.
Mm-hmm.
Most new restaurants don't have the bandwidth to like look into the dining room and be like, who is that? Do we know that person? Oh, do I recognize? It's like there's tickets flowing out of this machine and we got to fulfill these orders. So I feel like a lot of times, especially with new places, it's easy to duck in and just get out.
How many times is it personal and how many times is it work? Because sometimes like I'll go out with my wife and like I might like take video on my phone and I'm like, am I gonna post this? Am I not gonna post this? But like, how many times do you? Because sometimes people might see you, but like you're just like, dude, I'm just trying to get food. I'm trying to go home. This is not a work thing. So how do you guys balance like work and pleasure when it goes to like going to restaurants?
I think we both kind of go out a lot. You go out more often than I do.
I have extrovert disease. I'm out and about, going out. I like to go out late. I like to
I
go
hear
to
you
bars.
on the podcast.
Like
you like
go
to
out.
drink. You like cocktails.
I know.
You always
I
talk
have,
about
like,
all
a
the
bad
cocktail
reputation.
spots, and I'm like, oh, that sounds nice.
Yeah, it's true. I'm kind of a barfly a little bit.
But I mean, I think most of the time it kind of if somebody does like catch your eye and you're like, hey, do you work at Sauce? Like, I think you just take it in stride. I don't feel the need most of the time to have a boundary or something set up to where it's like, no, I love going to restaurants and I love like all the energy in that space. So if like somebody wants to come over and say hi, I have no issue with that.
If it's somewhere where I know that I know somebody personally, I try to kind of like fade into the background at least first, because I never want to give the impression that I'm like trying to get some. I'll say hi at the end and be like, thanks for a great meal, this was great.
That's
or
the
whatever.
MO.
I try to like, it's nice to say hi and remind people that we are here and I am patronizing you and I do genuinely enjoy your spot. But yeah, it's always, I try to keep it low. Again,
I don't want to give
reader,
that,
not me.
I don't want to give that impression either. Like,
hello,
knock,
like,
knock.
just so you know I'm here, I'm on the way.
I don't want to do that. I like
to
to just get a table and just have a great night.
Yeah, that's because then they like feel like they want to send something out or like come and talk to you. And I mean, some chefs will send stuff out.
That's
nice.
true, but I think it's mostly like we're really there because if we're really there because we were curious or we're coming back because we loved it.
Yeah, no, that's amazing. I mean, St. Louis has so many great spots. It's so hard to check everything off your bucket list to get on there. So I want to talk a little bit more about your guys' day-to-day, because I think that, I'm fascinated by journalism. I think that in a way we are in that role with you guys too, because like my day-to-day, I'm making reels for people. We're posting on social media. We're scheduling out content. We're not writing on our website. We tried to in the past. It's just another job, so we stopped.
Yeah.
We let the professionals do that. But really, it's like my ideal day is like going out to these places and meeting the chef, taking pictures, bringing a bunch of food back to our office and where people can talk about it. But our journalistic pieces are just 30-second little voiceovers. Like that's the extent of it. But if that convinces somebody to go to a restaurant, like you just never know where people are seeing it. So they're just seeing this, and you guys are always doing these first looks, and it's like, okay, this first look at this place, this first look at this place. Like, how are people reaching out? Are they reaching out to you? Or are you guys reaching out to them? Like, you guys are like investigators and stuff. You guys will be driving past somewhere and you'll be like,
yes.
I mean, it does happen like that for
Mhm.
sure sometimes.
Yeah.
I mean, whether we're getting a press release or so-and-so told so-and-so who told us that a place is getting ready to open. Maybe you ride by a spot and it's boarded up with like paper and you're like, what's going on over here? Like there are so many different ways that we find out a place is opening.
Yeah.
And once we know that a place is opening, then we start like, well, who is the person that we need to reach out to? And then we just try to make a connection. A lot of times, because we've both worked there for so long, we will know a person that is involved that can help us get our foot in the door. We love to have the opportunity to cover a first look first. It's not always the end result, but like we're always striving for that. So we do definitely try to like reach out to people and be like, hey, we saw this is coming soon. Can you tell us more about it? Just to start the conversation,
Exactly. So I want to hear a little bit more about the story of Sauce, because I know that this magazine's been around for a long time. So which one of you guys want to take that and tell us like how it started and and a little bit more of your guys' origin story?
Well, we started in 1999, And the original owner's intent was to have it be kind of an online, it was before Yelp. So it was kind of bridging a gap between like the Yellow Pages era and the internet age. They wanted to have an online restaurant guide. So it started out as kind of that. They even hosted like some restaurants' websites were originally on a Sauce hosted website. And then I think it was that was becoming so successful that they wanted to supplement with additional things. And the way that they went ahead by doing it was creating a publication. It was like nowadays, you know, if it was an Instagram account or something, they may go into more of a public relations space. But they chose the journalistic one. So the print magazine started in 2001.
Yeah. I think with the success of the restaurant database, it was sellable because you could have a restaurant be a sponsored listing. So no matter what search you as a user go on and have, the first, you know, few listings that come up would be sponsored listings. The problem I think happened where people are like, okay, I want to go to a restaurant in Chesterfield that has Thai food. Well, you would get a bunch of results and there was no concrete information about what your results meant. Like you could take a chance and go, but there wasn't as many resources as there are now to know what your search results meant. So like having an editorial component for people to understand what they were finding became necessary. And that, you know, that was all online at first. And then the print product became another revenue stream, you know? So, and I think their approach to really going the journalistic route is really refreshing because I think at that time they could have, I don't know, I suppose they could have made more money going into a different medium or avenue, but the way they went, I think it was really a great way.
And here, 25 years later,
I know,
this is your 25th anniversary. This
2000s were such a big time for like food knowledge. I feel like we talked about that in your episode with Katie Caro. I feel like she talked a lot about that, about how that was the boom of cooking focused reality TV and people were learning new vocabulary they didn't know before, and they were understanding like what kind of regional and ethnic cuisines from all around the world really looked like and what these restaurants offered. So it was really expanding diners' education too.
And you guys are bringing print back now. So tell us about the exciting
we're
news.
back in
I know
print.
that you guys did a nice merger and you guys are going to bring print back, which I love physical. I always grab them every time I'm out and I would see you guys, we would grab one.
Thank you. I mean, we went out of print because in March of 2023 and we were out of print for 9 months. And we went out of print. I mean, there's a number of reasons, but I mean, the main reason is the cost of print was not something we were able to keep up with at that time. And so when the time came that we had a buyer, the publishing company that acquired Sauce is called Big Lou Holdings. They also own the Riverfront Times and a number of other publications. And so part of their goal of the acquisition was to bring Sauce back to print. And so we came back to print in December, it's our favorite issue of the year, our best new restaurants. And it was so great to have it come back in print, especially for that particular story. We spend so much time working on that particular story, a lot of eating, a lot of like
eating, a lot of debate. We have a Post-it note lineup that we all kind of fight about for months, like switching the order and like trying places and, you know, trying to decide
for those
who really
best new
deserves those spots.
restaurants.
Because we so
or going
seldom
back again, be like, okay, I need to go back. Or, oh, like the managing editor needs to go back with you. And be like, are you sure? Let me go check this out.
Well, a lot of times to eliminate the re-dining experience, we try to make it so that we all go together so that we have this shared experience of, well, I liked that dish and you seem to like that dish on that day. I don't know why they're ranking at number 6 today. You know, it's like kind of like, you know, remembering all the experiences that we had as a group really did change the way I think that story comes together. Yeah,
we take that one so seriously because we so infrequently do truly ranked lists.
Right.
Because I feel like if we're telling you something's number 1, we want to be confident that's number 1. But that's a lot to try and compare. So often we just say like, oh, these are 5 great places with pizza. These are 10 great places with burgers.
We do the bucket list. Like, oh, here's 10 spots to try this weekend because then you're not like actually comparing or
I'm not lying
ranking.
to
It's
you.
very hard to rank. And
It's
you get a
hard
lot
to
of
rank.
hate. on Instagram. That's for sure.
Well, on our best new restaurant list, like you can come at us anytime about the ranking. We're very confident.
It's true. I always say that. Somebody could ask me why,
We have a lot of reasons.
That's amazing. So let me hear about this collaboration because so we have 5 people on our team and we do a bunch of other things other than STL Bucket List, but that is part of our roles is to grow STL Bucket List into this independent media company. But when we meet on Mondays, we're in the office, we have a whiteboard and we have targets that we want to hit. We're like, we need to be diverse this month. Where are we featuring in this city? What are we featuring in this neighborhood? What are we featuring in this neighborhood? Oh, can we get this person on the podcast? Oh, can we get this? Like, we want everything to be all inclusive of St. Louis. And really, St. Louis to us is everything from Wentzville to Belleville. It's this greater metro. So STL Bucket List is just the people, places, and events that make St. Louis special. But the collaboration is key because when it was just me and I was solo and it was me and my wife, our content geared towards the places that we went. So maybe we go to the places in the same neighborhood every single time because we live in that neighborhood and then we were forgetting about everything. So I want to hear about your guys' team, how you guys collaborate, how you guys plan content. How far do you plan content out? Because publication is different. If we wanted to do a post on social, I could do it tomorrow, so it's a lot more fly by the seat of your pants a little bit. I know that's a loaded question, but it's like, I want to hear about your guys' team.
No, we have, it's me and Michelle. We have a digital managing editor, Lauren Healy. She works on editing a lot of the content that goes directly on saucemagazine.com for online first work. So that'll be like news related stuff. This place is opening, this place is closing. First look, she's editing that copy that's coming in. Then we have our managing editor for print, Ian Shaw, and he manages all the writers for print first stories. So things that are going on our hit list, which is the new restaurants to try this month. I mean, he's really the one like compiling that list of new places that we need to try.
Ian's been awesome. I've never met him yet, but I've been reading his stuff.
Oh,
he's
yeah.
Awesome.
And he's a brilliant writer. He came on at first as a staff writer and then was promoted to managing editor. So he is managing all of the writers and all the print content that's coming in for the print issue. And I think like the way our process has been is it's pretty organic, but a lot of it is fueled by what's new. I feel like the most common question we get asked is like, what's new? Where should I go tonight? And so I think every product that Sauce produces, whether it's social, whether it's the restaurant database, whether it's print, is working towards answering that question. And so a lot of it, yes, is fueled by what's new and what we've been trying and then answering that question based off of what we thought was good. But also it is personal. It is like where we really love, where we return to, where we spend our actual, like what we earn, where are we going to spend that? And I think we all have different tastes. We live in different neighborhoods. So I think it gives us a running start to not get too, addicted to like our personal rut.
Yeah, the subject matter is always going to be dictated by, the news cycle, where places are opening the most, and then also trends, like talking about, things that might be trendy. We just look all around town to see where we see those happening. That guides our coverage a lot. And then we do try to fill in gaps. We know that our county readers are really excited to hear, like, I know the city has all these cool local places, but what's in St. Charles? What's in Cottleville? What's in Wentzville? And they do really respond to that. So we try to always round out coverage by that when we're looking at a digital editorial calendar. I think we used to plan further out for print.
I think we're about 4 months now.
Yeah, but again, we just, in this age, you kind of do. You have to let the trends and the news really cover you. And because of social media and everything, things change so fast. You have to kind of respond to what people are responding to, what the algorithm is responding to. So we do maybe have more wiggle room than some people may think.
I would say so, especially especially for feature kind of stories where, the beauty of like coming from a journalistic background is that you can come up with a great idea and there's no competition for that idea because it's a unique idea. So the clock on that doesn't really feel as pressure filled because, nobody else is talking about this idea in this geography with this angle. It's all about telling a great story sometimes, and it's not just about responding to what people are immediately interested in. Sometimes you're cultivating a new idea, and it takes time to develop it and research it and really make it a good story.
And to make everything come together. Like what you guys do is so difficult because, not only are you telling one good story, you're telling 14, 15, 16, 17 good stories all in one magazine with great design, with great, it looks good. The covers you guys do always look very good. So being like investing in nice graphics, photography, photography is not easy in some of these spots, like low light, you're bringing lights in, you're doing all this thing, and you owe it to each of these people to give them like, that photography, even though the story's for you, it's actually for them too. It's for everyone. And I think we struggle with that too. It's like, we want to help everybody and we want to go out to every single place, but it's like we have such a small team and we have such a slow bandwidth to where like, there has to be a balance in there. But yeah, it's been fun though. I feel like, you guys, really just from the event standpoint, you guys have been crushing it. I mean, Food Truck Fridays on my bucket list. I'm going April 26th.
Oh,
I know,
yeah.
that's our first one.
Right.
That's our
I'm going to
first
be
one.
there hanging out with Grace Meat. We're going to be chilling and eating some
great.
chicken and
Their
waffles.
truck is ever popular.
Oh, I know.
always
You got to
say
get there
I-
early, bro. I
Yeah,
got to get
we
there
usually-
like 4. I got to leave work early to get there.
Oh, absolutely. No, sometimes some people start coming in at like 3 and I'm like, I'm here because it's my job. But like,
Yeah.
I love that you're able to be here at this time on a
Yeah.
Friday. Speaking about like a perfect day working at Sauce Magazine, once spring hits, it's really exciting to just spend all of Friday in the park. It's that's a good work day too, isn't it? Any
Yeah.
Food Truck Friday is a great day.
So what are I know this is a very positive podcast, but what are some of the downsides to being in journalism? Because I know that there's ups and downs, and if I'm a student, we have a lot of young people that listen to us. A lot of people that applied to our internship are Mizzou journalist students, people that want to be in social media, marketing, PR, journalism, but like they're asking us, like they're like, I want to try social media, I want to try this. Like, tell us like some of those downsides, because like, I mean, it's not all sunshines and rainbows. You don't just eat all day.
Well, I mean, first of all, I will say this. You do have to eat a lot of food that doesn't taste very good.
Yeah.
Like a lot of it. Because we do end up trying a lot of places that we choose not to cover. I think pre-pandemic, a lot of people would have really critical reviews, really like, which are beautiful to write and fun to read. But our brand has always tried to focus on uplifting local businesses, because all we do is cover small local business. So
Right.
we don't need to use our platform to like shred somebody up. So we try to focus on places that we genuinely love, which means we do spend a lot of time eating at places that we're like, we can't talk about this.
Yeah.
And it's really not tasting great.
Yeah, there can be some bad
Yeah.
places.
But
for
I think
sure.
in general, journalism, I mean, it's, unless you're entering broadcast, unless you're entering like, higher profile journalism job, you have to really appreciate the day-to-day grind. And you have to really care about telling stories that are good and benefit your community. I've always been such a like believer in community journalism and the power of like how important it is to show people where you live is doing all these amazing things and you can take advantage of it. And I've always also felt that restaurants play a vital role in creating and helping to create a vibrant, diverse, culturally aware, culturally tolerant place to live. It's not just a place that you go to like have a meal. I mean, if that were the case, Saturday night at the grocery store, it's going to be popping, but that's not why you do it. You go there to commiserate, you go there to celebrate, to like take a break. So I think, when you look at it under the umbrella of journalism, I would say part of it is just to accept and revel in like the opportunity to tell great stories. I mean, of course, is it always going to have the greatest payoff? Is it always going to give you the best bank account? Probably not. But the upside is you get to meet such cool people and tell real stories to your community. And I don't see a downside in that.
That's great advice.
Yeah, you have to like again, the storytelling leading it, wanting to talk to people, not being scared to just jump on the phone and call somebody and follow up and get in the DMs and get to the root of that story. The curiosity, I feel like, is the most important. mean, obviously the biggest downside, again, our culture's really shifting. The monetization of it all is really hard. That's the constant struggle. But that's kind of why we all sort of need to be jacks of all trades. You know, you're saying it. You can't maybe just be a writer. You also have to have decent photography skills.
Yes.
You need to learn how to talk to people.
Yeah.
You have to know your way around social media and pay attention to the new ones. You don't just jokingly get to be like, I'm old, I don't do TikTok. It's not necessarily a choice if you want to
Exactly.
keep up on what you're doing. And then events, to be out in the streets, you can't be scared to like lift some heavy boxes and just do all the things.
Yeah.
So
No, I agree. I think that any job, but like especially
Yeah.
the people that work for us and you guys as well, it's like being able to do multiple tasks. And it's not like it's not hard to teach yourself how to do photography, but like you're not going to be the best photographer in the world. But like if that can avoid a $300 freelancer that day, that adds up if you do that every single day.
I mean, you cannot pay people to care.
Yeah.
They do or they don't.
Yeah.
You know, and I think like if you're a writer and you've been a writer for 20 years and somebody is like, okay, you're doing this great story, we need you to shoot some video. And you can't, some people are going to care and some people are not. They're like, I just don't do that. I feel like the way things move these days is that it's like Michelle was saying, if you are not prepared to like try and try to do it well, it's only going to be to your detriment. I think you should just try to care about it.
Yeah, I do voiceover videos now, which I feel so funny because now I have a newborn daughter and like I'm in the other room like trying to like not wake her up and I'm like, hey guys, it's Luke with STL Bucket List. We're here at this new spot today. And I'm like, and I go outside, I'm like, babe, why am I doing no voiceover videos? But
now
I'm
you're
like
doing ASMR voiceover.
But I know exactly. I just did it on the mic. But but now that video goes out and that video is 100,000 views and like that restaurant got 1,000 followers the next day. And this was like a small place in Ferguson that I went to. This guy wanted me to come out. He called me. He's like, bro, I need your help. And I'm like, okay, I'll come out. I'll do a video. Come out, do this video. And he called me the other day. He's actually going to be coming on here, Licious, over in Ferguson. Absolutely crushing it.
Elicious?
Yeah, Elicious. Yeah, Johnny. He's he just had me out for 3 and 4 day. But like that video is up, I think it's like 380,000 views now. And he's been getting thousands of followers now. He's getting a bunch of hate. Like it's just part of it. You're getting all this. It's just a viral video, you know? And I've been seeing you guys. You guys have been making reels. I saw that you guys made one at Pink Willow, which I've been wanting to go there because that's on my bucket
Well,
list.
you know
it's
who
a
did
new-
that.
You did that one.
It's a new brunch spot in Cottleville,
Yeah.
which is booming right now.
Yeah.
There's a really cute facility that's opening up on the corner of their main street called Oak Street Inn, I believe.
Yeah.
And it's this beautiful new construction building, and Pink Willow's like squeezed right in there, and it's this beautiful pink palace.
Yeah.
And it's like, okay, you're painted pink and you're doing brunch. Like
I'm
everyone's
there.
gonna love
You're like
you.
me and my pink hair on the way.
Yeah.
If
I
you
know,
guys
I
are
walked
watching
in
on
there.
YouTube, the sauce people usually aren't on YouTube. So now you
I
guys are on
know.
now you guys are on.
Well, maybe sometime soon.
Yeah.
Who knows? I know. I walked in there and like, oh, did you just for us? I'm like, yeah. Oh,
You were probably
sure,
at like
just for
the Barbie movie with your pink hair. I guarantee.
yeah. I may own Barbie themed Crocs, maybe.
So I want to talk about some food real quick. So if I'm coming to St. Louis, or if I'm coming to St. Louis for the weekend, what's on my itinerary? Where am I going to breakfast? Where am I going to brunch? Where am I going to go to lunch? We'll talk about your guys' personal bucket
Personal.
list.
Okay, I was
Yeah.
gonna say, like, is this for me?
Yeah.
Okay.
Because Meera's ready.
Yeah.
But no, I mean, honestly, the first thing I would tell everybody is to review saucemagazine.com's list of best new restaurants.
Yes, that's a great.
That's a great way to
idea.
start
Yeah.
because there's a little bit of everything there. But yeah, we have, great brunch spots. And
Well, I think I would say if
Where would you
I feel
start?
like most people when they're coming to St. Louis for the first time and they're talking to me about, they know a few things. Like they know like, oh, the Hill is like such a great spot for it's like an Italian neighborhood, right? And I'm like, yeah. If what you want is Italian, you have to like define. This is where we start asking a lot of questions.
I know, too many
So ask me
questions.
questions. So
Okay.
I'm coming to St.
Okay.
Louis. I'm 28 years old. I want to get rowdy a little bit.
Rowdy,
Oh,
okay.
Okay.
But I also want good food, and I'm on a date weekend with wifey.
Okay.
So
Okay.
I just
think-
answered all your questions. You didn't ask me anything. I just gave you a profile.
I think you should start out with brunch at. They do brunch at all the locations, right? Katie's Pizza.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
The new Katie's Pizza at Ballpark Village,
Okay.
because that is in the the thick of it down there, and it's a beautiful location. It's very sunny and
Yes.
spacious. There's a beautiful patio. They're great. Their service is great for hosting, and they have a great brunch menu.
Yes.
And then you're close to downtown. If you're looking to get rowdy, you can keep the party going and like go down Billy's on Broadway. That's a new bar right there on the edge of downtown.
That's right.
That's so fun. Or Broadway Oyster Bar.
Yes.
That's great for people out of town. Great drinks and great food. People overlook the food.
They totally
It really
do.
is good.
It is good.
Uh-huh.
I would say, okay, if we're later in the evening,
Uh-huh.
I would definitely point you to Planter's House.
Mm.
I wouldn't call
love
it the place
Planters.
to get rowdy, but I will say it leads to a rowdy evening.
Yeah, start your night there. Have a classy cocktail there
Yeah.
while you're still like trying to impress this date.
Mhm.
And then once you guys are ready to go, you could maybe pivot to the Grove and do a little tour down there. You could try a brewery. Urban Chestnut and Rockwell are right down there, two of the best breweries in town. You can go to Platypus, which is also serving
Oh, yes.
That's my
beautiful
I love
craft
that spot.
cocktails, but in kind of a rowdy atmosphere. They always have a DJ. They always have a band, something going
It's
on.
so loud, but then they serve glass, and it's all filled up to the top. Like you can't like move. Like
Yeah.
it's
I
so
love it
loud,
so
but I
much.
love the Eat Duck Bill. I used to
Yes.
get that all the time
Yes.
as late night food. I live
Mhm.
right over there by there, so that up
Mhm.
late when I used to eat up late food. Now I don't stay out past 9 o'clock, so I don't need to get up late food.
It'll be there waiting for you when you're ready to return.
Yeah. Well, yeah, when you'll come back. I mean, also in that neighborhood, I just love like if you're not if you're not going to the Grove, you could go the other direction and go down to like the Indo Union Loafers, like post drinks dinner location. Actually, I've been going to Indo a lot lately.
Yeah.
And I've been loving like their dinner and like all their, and they just do such a great job. It's so consistent, so good.
Our first date night post baby was at Sato.
Sato is great.
If you know Tecovas, you know that they make some of the best and most comfortable Western boots around. But what you might not know is that Tecovas has a store right here in St. Louis at Plaza Frontneck. Stop into their store and you'll find the finest handmade cowboy boots, jeans, belts, cowboy hats, and even apparel for both men and women. While you shop, enjoy complimentary drinks, boot shines, custom hat and boot branding, and more. Come visit the Tecovas store at Plaza Frontneck and let them help you find your new favorite pair of boots or your first pair of boots ever. Tecovas, don't go gently. So I'm going to give you guys my bucket list.
Okay.
Oh, let's hear it. Me too.
So my Saturday bucket list, I wake up and I go to A.O. & Co. in that neighborhood and get a wonderful, they have amazing coffee. People don't talk about how good their coffee is there. I go there and then I go to the farmer's market. So Saturday was the first farmer's market. So you start off, I mean, you can get coffee at the market too, but I kind of like A.O. & Co. because it's less busy. You don't have to wait in line for coffee. So then I go there and then I'll probably, if I'm in that area, I'm probably going to go to lunch at Fiddlehead Fern and I'm going to get the tomato soup, the big, croutons that are like bread.
Nice.
And Fiddlehead's so nice. I'll probably not get caffeine again there. I might get like a tea, sit on their
tea.
patio. Their patio is amazing. And then if we're talking lunch after that, I would probably go to Companion Cafe in Ladue. Amazing lunch. Jody Allen, they're from the Companion Baker people. And then my dinner spots for drinks, I'm going to get mezcal margaritas at Lazy Tiger
Okay.
with the Spam fried rice, which is absolutely amazing. And then really dinner, I got to go with, right now, I suggest that everybody should go to Eska because Eska is absolutely incredible.
She's been multiple times already
yeah,
with multiple in the
it's
near future.
unbelievable.
Yeah.
And you need to get there while Ben is there because eventually he's going to be at the other spots. But while he is there, he's going to bring out the cart. It's like a dim sum of like desserts
There's a
and all the.
cart.
He has a
There's a
dessert cart.
I
yeah.
know.
and
So cute. This
it's very
place is
cute.
so extra.
You know what it is?
It is
Okay.
extra.
Are you aware that the stools at the bar are upholstered in Gucci
Oh,
fabric?
Yeah, I know.
That
yeah,
has
I
been
love
Paremba.
I love it. But that's the spot that I tell everybody right now to get. I had to pull some
It's so
strings to
fun.
get some friends of mine reservations there. I had to call Luciano. So
Yeah, the bar experience is so fun.
I think that the presentation, the cart, I feel like there is a nice ceremony about the presentations there that is very endearing and thoughtful, and it makes I feel like it makes the experience feel very special. I am such a sucker for a tableside presentation or like a cart or
They
something.
do all the sauces table side. The meat, like they'll pour everything there.
Yeah.
This comes up a lot in the office too when we're like talking about a restaurant and kind of like evaluating. Maybe for the best new list, people will be like, "How could you put like Bagel Union on the same list as Sato? Like they're doing such much different things. But we talk about like how you're succeeding on your terms.
Right.
Bagel Union, that is a counter service restaurant. You know what you're getting. You pulled a number, you're maybe taking a bag to go home, you're probably not eating it there. So are they succeeding in those ways? Like, is the line efficient? Is the service friendly? Is the food great? And then Sado, a restaurant like that, or Eska, where, you know, the price tag is asking more of the customer. This is a special event. Most people probably are going to plan for this, really make time in their schedule, pay for a babysitter, do the whole effort. So they need to succeed at a higher level, because when the bill comes and it hits a certain amount, you need to be feeling special in some way.
Yeah.
And so Eska is really putting it in the atmosphere. It's so beautiful.
It is.
The food is great, high quality. It's creative. It's very new. Like, no one is really doing something like that. So you know you're going to get a very unique experience.
Yes.
It's exciting. It's like an exciting new place.
Yeah. I think the restaurant design element of it is such a big deal too. I feel like there are not as many, it's hard to invest in great restaurant design. And so when you see a place like an Eska or a Wright's Tavern, or, you know, a place that has really poured a lot of money into a space to make it a special experience, you really feel it as a diner. If you're just going there to just get a glass of wine and like some olives and just hang, you want to do that in a space that makes you feel different, you know? And I think when places make that big investment, it's such a great payoff for the diner, because you just don't want to leave.
So what are some spaces on your bucket list right now? These are, so bucket list to us is stuff that you've already tried. So it's just, it's like on your hit list. Bucket list is our hit list. That's our bucket list. So like, what are some spots on your hit list? And I know it's hard to leave people out and stuff like that, but
No, it's not.
okay, never mind. Some guests are like,
we
yes.
have big opinions.
So I like you guys because a
always.
lot of our friends that are chefs and stuff, they don't want to leave everybody out, or like entrepreneurs.
If
but
we're
you guys,
leaving somebody out, it's maybe because we forgot. But if you're thinking about restaurant design, I love
Design.
I mean, are you talking about restaurant design?
well,
No,
let's
favorites.
start there, and then we can go to like some of your hit list stuff.
Oh, okay. So I love, yes, like I said, Eska and Barmora. I think Ben Paramba has a great sense for interior design. The Katie's Ballpark Village, I think, is really beautiful for a
beautiful.
large scale space. It's unbelievable materials in there.
Mm-hmm.
I do love the design of both of Matt McGuire's restaurants, Louis and Wright's Tavern. I just think they have such a cozy sensibility, and they're chic and elevated, but yet you feel like you're being welcomed into somebody's home. It's got that kind of air about it. I'm trying to think about other spaces.
Idle Wolf in the
Oh,
21C Hotel downtown. That always comes up, talking about beautiful new spaces,
Yeah.
because it is stunning in there. That's kind of the 21C Hotel chain's whole thing. So
Yeah.
they get a lot of art into the space and a lot of like installations, custom painting and wallpaper. It's so beautiful. And Idle Wolf is, that is a feast for the eyes in there.
As the weather is warming, Bowood's patio is like one of my favorite patio spaces. It's so gorgeous because
So
of
nice.
the nursery. They have all those like baby trees and fruiting plants and flowers and stuff back there. That's really beautiful. Even Adara's patio, you know,
In the
it's
Central West End.
people get married back there. We talk about this.
gorgeous,
It's so beautiful. What else do you like?
Well,
I do
apart
love
from
Planters.
beautiful- Yes, Planters House is always great. Apart from like beautiful spaces, a lot of my current like hit list now, I am going to Platypus a lot. They have so much going on there. We love the lowbrow eats. Kenny's upstairs, open on South Grand. We're
Haven't been
hitting
there
that
yet,
a
but
lot.
that's on my bu-
And
that's on
even
my
that,
list.
it's a modest space. It's definitely kind of a dive bar, but it's cleaned up and the lighting is so thoughtful. It's super red in there, so it's very vibey and it still feels special without feeling like the old
and still
upstairs.
affordable drinks. I looked at their menu.
Yes,
like, they have
absolutely.
cheap beer, which is like, we need those places that we can like have a few drinks and not spend like $60.
Oh, totally. I believe they have a happy hour where you can get a hams for $1.50.
Oh, nice.
Come on. And you can
Nice.
also, we have always said like you could do a cocktail tour right on South Grand, where maybe your first stop of the night is New Society.
Yeah.
Again, when you're still like wanting to impress and try something really surprising and special. And then maybe you move to Kenny's upstairs and have like a beer and a shot special, like a tiny little beer shot and a high life. And then you end your night at CBGB's, where they're
Okay.
doing like noise karaoke and cocktails are like $3 wells. Like South Grand has got your whole night
Yeah, South
covered.
Grand is amazing.
Yes, from upscale to down.
So I want to, as we're talking about spaces and like all these hit lists, we're talking about like these elevated cocktail experiences. Like now we have these speakeasies. You talked about New Society, Noda, or none of the above. That place is amazing. But there's a space for these places that are affordable. So I went and I snuck over to Stu's and Soulard.
That's one
Yes.
of my
Unbelievable.
favorites too.
So good.
They've been like popping up all over my Instagram, and I like my wife was out, and I was like, oh, I'm just gonna go after work. I just went there right at 5, and I just ate at the bar, and I had this like amazing fried rice and this amazing General Tso's chicken, and then guy I knew was working the bar. Their drinks were like $10 to $12, which is like rare
Such a
now.
great range.
Which I'm like, dude, like some of these places have like $16 drinks now, which I get when you're using like a very expensive material and stuff like that, but having like a space where we're seeing this like revival of these like affordable dive bars, but they're like actually really nice. Like Platypus,
an elevated dive.
Platypus is a dive bar, but it has amazing cocktails and it
Mhm.
has amazing food that's very affordable. And then one place I'm excited about is the Burger Spot in the Grove. Good Company.
Oh, Good
Oh,
Company.
yes.
Yes, we're so excited.
I'm
there.
excited about that.
A burger place done by a company who professionally makes ice.
Yeah.
Like what a weird, unique concept. And
Yeah.
the ice is so beautiful.
It
like,
is gorgeous.
Yeah, they do like beautiful like long columns for like tall skinny glasses, and you can get your logos like embossed in there. I believe, speaking of Sado and Indo, I know Sado at least for sure uses their ice. So yeah, that what an amazing marriage of like high and low. I feel like we are seeing that over and over. We just keep talking about, again, it's making me sound like I have a problem on the podcast. We're just talking about bars all the time.
Well,
but
I said
it's post-COVID,
on your podcast,
you know,
I'm like, she likes to drink a lot, because every time you're like, what did you do that? You always say like, what did you do this weekend? She's like, well, I had drinks here, and then I went to this place and I had drinks. I'm like, damn, in a good way. That sounds really fun.
I mean, it's an occupational hazard. Some of it is seriously like we get to discover so many cool places, and then you're just compelled to return just as a regular consumer. You know, it just happens that way.
So you talked about spaces. Let me hear some of your spots that like when you're going like, you know, on your free days that you have.
Well, this may overlap into my bucket list portion that I prepared, but I'll just go with it. I feel like lately, since our offices are now on the hill, a go-to lunch spot for me has been Adriana's on the Hill. It's an amazing sandwich shop. They're so cute in there and so friendly. I always get the Sunny's vegetarian sandwich. I love vegetables and vegetarian eating. So I always get that sandwich, and I actually got it not too long ago. Like an hour ago.
Like a couple hours ago.
Before you guys left.
Yeah.
Yes, we walk into Adriana's, and that's like the exact thing you want in the Hill. You want to feel like my mom, my grandma, my aunt is behind the counter. And they're being so
She's so
nice.
sweet. I
And they're
don't know her
complimenting
name.
your outfit. And they're like, oh my God, you did your hair different today. Like, yeah, they're really cute. I like Sump Coffee is my favorite coffee shop. I think that that coffee shop really changed. It was like it opened at a point where there was like a moment where everybody suddenly was kind of open to this third wave coffee idea being really serious coffee drinking kind of a place. And I think at first when they opened, it was really intimidating. Like people were like, I don't know what this bean region means and what roast level, like none of that, you know, it wasn't immediately, there was a learning curve, I guess I would say. But I do go there a lot, and it is my favorite place to get an espresso, a cortado, a cappuccino. I just love the vibe, and I love how much they really research every element of what they're serving on their menu. Now they're doing chocolate. They launched a chocolate program, and they're making bars of chocolate, and the way they research their coffee beans, you know, from who farmed it and how they processed it and like how it was roasted. They are doing the same kind of meticulous approach with chocolate, which I just thought, you know, what an organic progression for their business.
Right.
So Sump is definitely on my list. Out west in Chesterfield, Annie Gunn's and Taj Palace are like my go-to spots out west. Annie Gunn's. I mean, you've been Annie Gunn's a lot in the recent past.
And I always encourage people to, you can walk in and sit at the bar. You can order the full menu there. So that's also makes for like a really fun night out. It doesn't have to be, again, a big seated special occasion. You can just pop there, and they have a great like sandwich menu.
So
it doesn't
good.
have to be
It's
like a
good.
big whole
And
thing.
they've like upgraded ever since that Ruth Chris came there. They're like, okay, word. And then they like made it like so much bigger.
Oh, it's so big. They have
because
this
Ruth Chris is
full-
on the other side. They're like, now it's like competing
Well, they
steakhouses.
completely renovated their back dining room. It used to be like tented basically, and now, but I mean, you know, that wine list, I mean, there are very few wine lists that are as well curated as that one. Glenn Bargett is like a friend of the magazine. He is one of our long-term contributors, and he's the sommelier there.
Oh, wow. Nice.
And he's been recognized by James Beard Foundation and Wine Spectator and all these places. He has great relationships with winemakers. Like, people will fly in from all over the world to have a wine dinner at Annie Gunn's and introduce their wine to the clientele there. So I think it's such a gem in Chesterfield. A little bit west is Taj Palace. That's like my go-to Indian spot.
Really?
Yeah, it is like,
Never been there.
it's so good. I think the first thing I think about when I think about an Indian restaurant is like, how good is the naan? You know, I mean, I'm South Indian, so South Indians don't usually make naan at home. So for me, it's a treat. I'm like, oh my God, this is so pillowy and soft. So the one at Taj Palace is my favorite.
Okay.
So definitely if there's like a family function, if we're craving Indian, that's where we go.
Nice.
That's the best when you have like a friend or someone in your family who has like a hating immigrant parent to be like, let me tell you about this restaurant or this one, or has preferences. So
Yes.
Mira's often consulting her mom,
Oh
who
my
is
God.
not shy to give you
She-
an opinion on an
No,
Indian
she
American
is just
restaurant
like, who told you about this place?
Yeah.
Why did you bring me to this place?
Your mom says this?
My mom says this.
Yeah.
Don't bring me here again, please. And so
And this is other Indian restaurants?
Yes.
Oh, because she's so judgmental.
she's a
about
very,
it.
very like, you know, she's the best cook I know.
Mhm.
So I can't bring her just any place because if they
Yeah.
cut the onion funny, she's gonna be like, look at this
Mhm.
knife work
Where
is
you're
not
just
good.
enjoying. You're like just enjoy not cooking. Jeez.
Oh,
I
no.
mean, no, no, she
No.
can't. I will say, like, on my one other spot that I routinely go, there's a spot in Ferguson. You mentioned Ferguson, so I was reminded of this, but there's a place called Drake's Place, and it's in that like main part of like downtown Ferguson, basically, and they do like some fine dining ish kind of stuff. Like, I feel like they want to have like a really nice, like, you know, elevated experience. They also do barbecue at times. I've like noticed that they're like making some shifts since the pandemic and stuff, but they do these, if they have a dessert case. And in the case, if you see a caramel cake, you have to get this caramel cake. It is the best caramel cake that money can buy. And you know, it's like a Black Southern woman is making this cake. Her name is Miss Bernice. And because I was like, who is responsible for this cake? Who did
Need to
that?
know. We need to know them.
And they're like, oh, you know, we outsource it, and this woman who caters brings it into the restaurant, and it is just so good. It is like, it is the best caramel cake. It's so tender, the crumb on it, and the caramel is like super soft, and it's just, I've tried to make caramel cakes. I'm done. I've retired
Done.
from trying
That's
that.
how I
Leave it to
feel
Miss
about a
Bernice.
lot of things. Like, I'm like, I try to do stuff at home. I'm trying to be like this, but I'm like, I could just literally go buy it from the people that are doing it better. And it's almost not like that much more expensive to buy. Like, I've been trying to make bread, and I'm like, well, I'm just going to go to Companion. I know Josh and all those guys. Like, I'm just going
It's
to buy bread
true.
from them. Like, I'm trying to like be like resourceful now that I'm a dad and try to like do things on my own.
Mhm.
But
Yeah, no need
it's-
to homestead when Union Loafers is like around
yeah,
the
Union
corner.
Come
loafers
on.
too. Come on
Yeah.
now.
Or Need. You
Yeah.
know, we have great
Yes.
All
sources
the
of
it's like
bread in this town.
$7. It's like,
Yeah.
dude, that would have taken me like 5 hours. I would have effed it all up.
See,
And then
part of it though, I think it's just like the fun of making the
it
thing.
is fun.
It's true.
It is fun.
It's true. It keeps, you know.
And
can
also,
be fun.
truly, if I'm hungry and I spend all this time making food, I don't even really want to eat it.
Mhm.
I feel like I already ate it by doing all
Oh,
this
yeah,
stuff.
yeah.
Mhm.
Oh, not me.
So what does the future look like for Sauce Magazine? Because you guys are shifting and changing. Now you're back in print. Now you're under new ownership. Like, what can our listeners expect? A lot of our listeners, like I said, are in that 21 to 35 age range, and they are interested in trying new things and going to new restaurants. Like, we're seeing a shift of younger people. They're spending more money going out. I think that's what it seems like, at least in my friend group. So like, what can they expect to see from you guys? Because we've been seeing the reels. Somebody's responsible for those
I mean,
reels.
you're definitely
We're
working
all,
on that.
yeah,
Yep.
you listen. We're trying.
We're
All
out
hands
here
on
trying to
deck.
catch videos on these phones.
A
I know
bunch
that
of
is the
people and they're a bunch of older millennials trying to like film reels on TikTok.
I mean, it's
Come on now.
No, I know. We're always focusing on events a lot. We're always
Yep.
trying to, you know, have in-person events that people can go to and opportunities to try multiple food vendors at once, and also, you know, be in the community, be active. Events is also something we want to be ramping up more. Again, our social presence, we diversified, added our podcast once our publication went out of print, because we're like, if we're taking something away, we need to add something. And now it's all back, and we're just kind of doing it all.
Yeah.
So there's ways to hear like what's new and exciting, where you should be going for whatever specific thing you're looking for.
Yes.
Basically in all our channels.
Yeah. I think that's exactly what it is finding avenues to tell the story. And I feel like it's not necessarily like discovering new ways to tell the story. It's just like we're working sometimes, you know, like I said, 3-4 months on a story. It can be a long-term thing. And so like maybe we'll just take this piece of it and put it here. And maybe we'll take this piece of it and zoom in on it and make it a video. Maybe we'll use this portion of it to talk about on the podcast. So it's not necessarily like doing different things in terms of storytelling, but just presenting it in as many ways as possible to be more accessible.
Can I give you guys 2 things that I think you should do?
Yeah.
Please.
So I think you should have more guests. You should have guests on the podcast, 100%. And then I think that you should do micro events. And maybe this is something we can collab on, is like chef dinners, Sauce presents this dinner, high ticket special dinners, like where it's smaller. I love your guys' huge events, but like those small tickets where it's like 20 tickets and it's like some special event,
Yeah.
cannabis infused stuff, all this different stuff that's like super popular that like people are doing. I mean, that would be really cool. Like I'm just imagining like I was over at we were talking about Ben. I was over at his house and he was cooking at his house. I'm like, he has this guest house that he's like, oh, we could host somebody here. Like you could do stuff like that. Like, and those would be super cool, interesting bucket list experiences for people to do. And that would be cool. But then definitely guests on the podcast. I love your guys' show. It's short and quick and it's easy to listen to in a car ride, which is awesome.
Thank you.
We try to make it conversation with your friends who know where you should be going.
Yeah.
Easy
But just
for you to
having like
listen.
little tidbits of guests on there, I think, even if
Totally.
it's just a small, quick one, like you could like almost record on like send somebody questions and they could voice memo. Like
Yeah.
there's ways that you
We
can
love.
do it.
We've been thinking about doing, we're definitely,
Mm.
it's definitely on the radar for sure.
Because once you start connecting people, then they share. It becomes this. It's just like when you
Yeah.
guys do a first look and they share it on their page, and then it goes crazy, and
Totally.
all their friends and family listen. Because that's what's so hard about our show is it's so guest centric. Is like we might have 200 people from Sauce tune in this week, but then we'll never get them back next week. So how do we retain like people that listen, you know, and stuff like that? So, all right, now it is the STL Bucket List show. So I'm going to tell you guys a story about how we started STL Bucket List. My wife and I were dating. We lived in St. Charles. We moved to Southampton. We live where we currently still live, right on Macklin, right by Clementines and Russells. So we moved to the South City neighborhood from St. Charles, which is this huge culture shock similar to Chesterfield. St. Charles is even more of a culture shock, but it's similar, suburb. And when we moved to South City, we're like, we don't know where to go. We're 23 years old. We're like, we don't know where to go. We don't know. So we're looking at stuff like you guys. We got a lot of inspiration from that. But then we went to another big city. We were in New York. We were in Chicago. And all these Instagram pages had everything we needed to do. My wife planned her whole trip off Instagram. And this was like 2019. So I came back to St. Louis and I'm looking at the pages, you know, downtown St. Louis, Explore St. Louis, all these pages. And yes, they're community pages, but they're not like speaking to me. And I needed somebody to speak to somebody in their 20s that was dating, that didn't have kids or anything like that. And so we created STL Bucket List. We were anonymous for a long time because we were embarrassed. We were like, we don't want to be influencers. Like, we just want to like take pictures and support local businesses. So we started it that way. We did a Locals Choice Awards party. We did all these things. And like, finally we like came out and started the podcast and was like, hey, it's just us. We're just a married couple. We're, you know, we have no bias interest. We're just talking about the things that we like. And now we have 186,000 followers on Instagram. And that's really our main channel. We don't try, once we started trying to do Facebook, TikTok, Instagram, Twitter, then we lost focus on what was actually working. But yeah, that's the story on us. So the bucket list to us isn't like things we want to check off before we pass on or whatever. It's just when somebody says, what's your STL bucket list? It's these are the places that I love to go. These are the places that I bring my mom. These are the places that I go on date nights. These are the places that, you know, when I have a day off, if you do have a day off without anything going on. So that's kind of the story. People like kind of like, what is STL bucket list? What does it mean? So I want to start with you.
Okay.
And I want to hear your STL bucket list. What are, you know, as many things as you want. You can say brunch places, breakfast spots, drink spots, pastries.
Mhm.
It could even be non-food stuff, but it sounds like you guys are big food things, but it
It's
could even
true,
be
it
like
tends
events
to-
too.
We always joke, that's at least how I travel. It's like I eat a meal and then I walk around until I'm not full anymore.
you eat
And then
again.
it's time for a snack.
Yeah.
So for this one felt kind of easy. As I was thinking about this list, I realized that I'm kind of planning a St. Louis Bucket Day list on my birthday. My birthday's falling on a Saturday this year. So I was like, this is basically
When's your
the
birthday? We'll
itinerary.
post your list on your birthday.
All right, April 27th.
Okay, send,
Tourist season, bringing it
email
in
me
true
the list,
tourist
and I'll do a
fashion.
big flyer on our page with your face and the list.
Celebrating tourists. Okay, let's get the face. All right, I'm starting out the day with brunch at Southwest Diner.
Okay.
Because we love Southwest Diner. Their Christmas enchiladas are great. Their fried pickles are amazing. And we always have to order cornmeal pancakes for the table because they are excellent there.
Those are amazing.
I have an appointment to get another piercing after that because you have to lubricate a little bit at brunch and then you go,
Get a piercing.
get some pain at Arch Nemesis Tattoo, which is not food, but shout out to a local woman-owned business.
That's awesome.
In the afternoon, I'll probably need a caffeine pickup. I'll probably be going to Bagel Union because we're obsessed. I go every weekend and get a bag for the freezer to stock up for the week. And they always have an amazing special. So I'm sure I'll need a snack. And they have great Comet coffee there. So I'll probably get one of those. I live kind of by Forest Park. So I love to hang out in the park, go for a walk. I'll probably be taking a nap. And then I want to hit up one of our like new exciting restaurants at the beginning of the night. Walk in, maybe right when they open, hope to sit at the bar, thinking about Eska because I've been for First Look, but I haven't had a dining experience there. Or I may be going to Sato or
If
Indo.
you go on April 27th, I'll be there. That's my 2-year anniversary. So come on and sit with us.
Wow. Well, I'm really going to look and be like, limoncello.
You're like in the window. You're like, do you have a seat?
Don't turn me away. I need a limoncello right now. And then we're going to, see a lot of local music and performers. Again, I'm always at a bar. So I have a friend who does a drag show every third Saturday at Handlebar. So I'll be seeing the Chloe Curiosity show on that Saturday. Then we're in the Grove. So I'll be, going out to the bars there. I'm sure I'll be at Platypus, as we said already. We'll hit Gramophone for a late night sandwich. They're always there for me when I need them. Or Pie Guy, which is also right there. It's one of my favorite pizzas in town.
Yep.
And again, for a nightcap, we have so many choices of great kind of elevated dives. I've already kind of shouted out Kenny's and Stu's, but those are the places that I'm returning back to.
So this is a day that you're going to do. That's one day.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
realistic.
Wow.
That's a real day.
That's a
Wow.
Saturday for me.
That, first of all, that sounds amazing. Second of all, that sounds expensive.
Well, you know what? I did say I'm a tourist. I'm not smart. I'm just
No,
living
that's
my life.
not true. It's her birthday.
Yeah. No, that's great. That's awesome.
Well, that's why I like to go to the fancy restaurant before, so you get kind of a snack and like one drink, and then I
Yeah.
cut myself off and I'm off to the next.
Exactly.
That's why I like the
That sounds like an
hours.
amazing day. No, but for real, we're going to post that on your bucket
All
list
right,
for your
we love
birthday.
it. We
So-
love it. I'll send the list.
Okay, so for me, I love coffee. I usually make coffee at home and then I will go to the coffee place afterward. So usually, especially if it's on the way to work, it's Comet coffee.
Mhm.
I usually get a cappuccino. That's my go-to drink these days. And then if it's not enough, I'll get an espresso as well. My favorite pastry there is the plain croissant. I feel like either you're a pain au chocolat or you're a plain croissant person. I'm definitely on the plain side. If it's not there, I'm definitely going to Sump. I also did have a really great experience at the Hilo recently, and I love that coffee shop as well. I feel like in the lunchtime, I'm definitely thinking about a salad. If it's not Union Loafers Little Gem, it's Pastoria Deli and Wines Green Goddess with extra giardiniera. If it's not there, I'm definitely thinking about the Italian salad at Union Loafers at dinner. I'm just like I like a salad at lunch. And then if I'm doing like an afternoon snack happy hour type of time, I'm going to go to Brasserie. I think their house glass of wine is, I think it's like $5 or $6. It's a really good value. And then you could just get the warm bread and butter that they put on the table and just like coast for like a good 45 minutes. I feel like it's a great happy hour. Since I'm going to be in the Central West End anyway, I'm going to mosey on down to like either Yellow Belly or Lazy Tiger. I love I had a cocktail not too long ago at Yellow Belly. I don't know if it's on the menu right now, but it was called the Polar Bear. And it had like mezcal.
Was
and
it clear? It was like a clear mezcal.
yeah, and it
drink?
had like
Yeah.
a dried slice of citrus on it. And it was like, it had all this stuff in it. Like I talked to the bartender. I'm like, what all is in this? And he's like, I thought he was going to say mezcal and this, but it was like mezcal, this and this, and like 10 other things, including a Thai bird chili tincture where you put 1 drop of it in the cocktail, and that's like the
Amazing.
finisher.
I know. That's why you go to these places where the cocktails are $15.
I know.
Exactly.
Because it has 1 drop of a tincture that
But
took
then you
3
sip
weeks
it.
to make.
I sip it so long because I'm like savoring it.
Yes, right.
And that's true. And then, I mean, like true to form, I mean, either like as of late, it's been Esca or Indo, but I'm going to throw a curveball and say Pepe's apartment number 2.
Oh, we love
Okay.
Pepe's and
Okay,
Kirkwood.
I haven't been yet.
Okay.
A lot of people have said that. They said that, and then Palmanos are like their top 2
Palmanos.
bucket list spots. And I'm younger and I'm from St. Charles, so I don't know these classic spots as well. But these are the 2 most requested bucket list spots on the show.
I used to work at 141 and Olive at an Indo-Chinese restaurant in like the early 2000s called, what was it? Hot and Sour. And it's like a few doors down from Paul Mano's where it is now. And so we used to do lunch trades with them. Like I would be getting there early, or like early dinner trades. Like we would have like Hakka noodles or like a fried rice or whatever. And I would walk it down to Paul Mano's and we would do like a trade. And that was my introduction to Paul Mano's. And I do love Paul Mano's. But if I'm going to put it on my bucket list, it's going to be Pepe's apartment number 2. I'm going to get the shrimp scampi entree, take off the green beans and the potato croquette, sub in the fettuccine alfredo. I'm going to either get a bottle of wine from their list, which you can get a nice bottle for $30, or I'm going to bring my special date wine from home and pay the $30 corkage fee. I'm going to get the what's the panna cotta dessert with the raspberry sauce.
So good.
Yeah, that's going to be what I'm going to do.
Wow. The amount of like precision you guys had on those bucket lists. I mean, I'm glad that you guys thought about those. You're like, I already knew, but you could like, but yeah, like we put people on the spot sometimes. Like, oh,
I should have tucked in there before dinner, going to Wright's Tavern and get the martini in the sidecar with the crab cake.
Oh, that sounds good.
With extra Gordal olives for my martini in the
Those
sidecar.
I always do neighborhoods because that's why I think we've been like shifting our content to like, hey, what's your South Grand bucket list? Because then it's easier. Because then like when you're thinking about the day, like your day in both your guys' days, like you were in the Grove, but then you're like popping over to Grand, like that. Like
But she is about to go do that. This is about
she
real
will.
life.
She will.
Yeah, that's what I'm
It's
saying.
drummed down. If I want it, where there's a will, there's a way.
We don't think about geography in our personal life.
what
We
I'm
will go from here to there and everywhere just to get
Well,
our
that
day
is like our
right.
coworker Lauren for her birthday itinerary. Oh my God, that list was crazy. I
did she
was
do?
like,
I don't
her
even
husband was
remember.
driving her around. She wanted a cocktail tour of the like whole city.
Yeah.
I think she went to Maryland House
Yes.
in the Central West End. She
That's
went
right.
to Planters
Beautiful
House
space.
in Lafayette Square. She went to weren't they were out in the county somewhere. She might have had dinner at Noto. It was
Yeah.
crazy.
Oh, she did go to
Yeah.
Noto.
Which
St.
is
Charles.
out in St. Charles. Yeah,
Yeah.
she was really being driven all around as
Yeah.
the birthday
So
girl.
that's what I think like in your guys' content is like fun to like, let's see what your guys' team does because like we're putting people to brands and like that's one thing that we've been doing personally, but like now that we have new team members, I have this new girl, Libby, on our team. She's crushing and she's doing these videos and these voiceovers and like I want her to like, what do you do on the weekend and like go around and like make that real, you know? I think that it's the next phase. Like you guys are journalists, so you guys aren't used to doing the video, but like the podcast is the first step. And now it's like, I want you to video your birthday. I don't want you to video on your birthday. Don't do that. But don't work on your birthday. But like that type of stuff of like you getting your morning coffee, like how can that be in content? So I think that there's like opportunities as you guys see a shift in what you're doing. But I want to thank you guys for coming on the show today.
Thank you for having us.
If you guys want to leave us with how to follow you guys, how to support the magazine, and like what ways can people support? Because you know, like there's a lot of things that people don't know that's super easy and it's free to support you guys. But it's like, what can our listeners do to really get engaged with you?
Well, you can visit our site at saucemagazine.com. You can follow us on our podcast, The Sauce, anywhere you listen to podcasts, you download, leave a comment, like it, share it with people. I also think follow us on all of our social channels. Our Facebook and Instagram are both at SauceMag, X is at SauceMag. And I think coming to the events that we have planned this season, I think is a really great way. I feel like all the events that we have planned for this season are Food Truck Friday and Saucy Soiree. Saucy Soiree is kind of a Food Truck Friday idea to it, where it's like we have a big collection of restaurants from all over town that are coming and feeding people, and it's a really great experience. So I think both of those are a great way to one, learn about great restaurants and food trucks in town, and having the support of seeing our readers and audience. It's just such a it's such a great way to like connect with people
Mhm.
because usually we're at a tent, we're at the
Yeah, listen, I'm there at Food Truck Friday. Those all
I'm gonna come see you. I need to get that fast pass. Do you guys still do that?
We sell
do.
them.
Okay.
So you can, if you're scared of Food Truck Friday lines, you can get a speed pass.
Speed pass.
Mhm.
That's
Yeah.
right. And then we have like our newsletter, Edible Weekend, where you can subscribe to it at saucemagazine.com just to connect and see like what are all the events that are taking place this weekend that are food centric. We cover restaurants and we cover food. So I think our audience is really unique in the sense that they like love dining out. So I think part of our goal is to like reach people that maybe they don't follow us for that because they feel like maybe I don't need to know about like what's new. I like my old spot that I go to all the time. Well, we cover that too. So I feel like, we're just looking to expand, as like we were talking about with video and all these new ways of reaching people, but it's also like, we don't only cover what is new. We want to we want to cover all the good stuff.
Yeah, our April cover story is reasons why we love Trattoria Marcella, and what's a more like classic, St. Louis place there. And we have a video that we've been working on coming out next week, focusing on surprisingly great food being served at like gas stations around town.
Nice.
So it's not just we get excited about the upscale, fancy new Ben Paremba place, but we love all the great food here, high and low.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, that's amazing. I appreciate what you guys do.
Yeah,
and I think that it's cool that we can kind of connect the Instagram digital world with the print publication because we're all kind of in the same alley. But I appreciate you guys for tuning in to another episode of the STL Bucket List Show, and we'll see you guys next week.
See ya.
See ya.
Today they rep St. Louis, yeah. They rep St. Louis. They rep St. Louis.